Hey all, 118 Seth Shadow here. So, today's Market Watch has a lot of different things I want to cover, so I'm gonna go through this kinda quick. But to summarize the first bit of it, well, we had the release of Gloryfinder recently, and I covered a little bit of what was available in terms of the set as well as the singles that are available. Now, the thing about Gloryfinder that you have to remember is that it's a Highlander format, and the set itself comes with 4 different decks, with a few different decks that contain the same card across them. But for the most part, you're only getting 1 copy of a lot of the big cards that you would normally pick up from booster packs. As an example, we have Dark Angel Olivia, which is currently still hovering just underneath $20 for its base listing, and the Gloryfinder version did exist for some time, but unfortunately it already got bought at a market price of 10. And the thing is, that also means even though there are reprints with the Gloryfinder set, the overall chance that you're going to see a lot of singles hit the market is much lower due to the fact that this will probably get picked up by players, and then they'll tend to keep the whole thing because it's multiplayer, and they'll probably want to play it more so with friends as just kind of like a fun side thing. There is a more competitive event format setup that is being tested in tournament settings, but we'll just have to see where it goes. But in any case, when you look at things like Olivia here, or even Merlin here, we did have it available at a market price of $8 for the Gloryfinder version, but that one's already gone. The Evo of it is available right now for $6, which is around the same price of the Evo of the original from set 1. Market price on that one is $5.44, so just a little bit lower. And the original regular version is still $13 right now. And Merlin is going to be one of the bigger ones to pick up when set 6 comes out due to Quan being one of the more popular decks to go with there. Then there's also Acolyte's Light, which is exclusive to the set, which is exclusive to the Haven starter deck. This is one of the examples which has 2 different copies you can pick up from the Gloryfinder set, but there hasn't been a single listing of this on the market from Gloryfinder. And there are still 8 listings on the starter deck set 1, but the market price has been rising. It's now $5.64, and now it's $8.97 base. So the thing is, while there are reprints of a lot of these cards, it's just you're not likely to see as many of them hit the market from Gloryfinder unless people just get tired of holding onto their Gloryfinder stuff and just trying to get rid of it. The other problem is that the general MSRP of Gloryfinder, I think, is $100. And when you consider how many cards there are, and the fact that a lot of other ones are going for like $7 to $10, that would mean that over time it would probably be more practical to crack the set open to sell the singles. Dragon Oracle is another example of something that got reprinted in Gloryfinder, but this one also doesn't have any listings either. And then its only other copy is from the starter deck for Dragon. It's still $6 to pick up there, meaning that right now I think you can only pick these up from $20 to $30. So it is still a little cheaper to pick up 3 copies of Oracle separately, but it's hard to find them that are actually closer to $20. Then, of course, Gloryfinder has its own exclusives like Lena, Sister of Judgment, which has its base form and its Evo. Another problem here, though, is that whoever listed these is trying to get $10 for each of them. But again, if you're going to go for a lot of the Gloryfinder exclusives like this, you're better off just picking up the whole set for $100, because I think there are probably 2 or 3 different exclusives you can pick up with each deck set, meaning that since there are 4 deck sets, if every single one of them sold for $10, then you're looking at about $30 per for just the Gloryfinder exclusives, which is about $120 on its own. Then the reprints. So it's not as plausible to sell these at $10. Another exclusive, for instance, is Magnolia Battlefield Muse, which is also $10 listed on the market right now, but nobody has bought any copies of this. And there's only one listing anyway. I mean, if you only need certain Gloryfinder exclusives, it works out. But Gloryfinder is a Highlander format, so it's ultimately still better just to pick up the whole set if you're looking to get into it. Gelmik's Omen of Disdain. Now we're starting to get into regular singles and the regular format. This one has been slightly dropping off in value since its height of, I'd say it was more stable around $15 for a while, but it's been selling more recently around $12.50. There is one listing just under 12, or I should say under 11 before you count shipping, but ultimately most of the listings available with quantities consolidated are around $12.50. Then you've got the Omen of Repose Marwyn, which is still one of the cheapest to pick up among the new omens, but a really powerful one at that. It's $1 to pick up for the base form and a little less than that for the Evo, but the market price for both of them is above $1 at this point. The super legendaries are... The base form's market price is almost $11, but the Evo is around $5. And as for actual listings, the base form super legendary dropped off to $5.44. And if you want the ultimate rare of the Evo, that's under $50 for its base listing, but the market price is $62. A foil card that has few listings but not moving very much is Star Reader Stella from set 4. A pretty decent card overall, where it gives you scry and some setup for spell chain, but after that, it's sold once this month, more recently for $5, and it was a lightly played copy, but it didn't sell. The last time it sold before that was back in May for around the same price. So it'll sell sporadically, and we do have listings that are still around $5 with the shipping considered too. Cosmofang is another card that just kind of got lost in everything, where I would call it a more glorified Rose Gardener, where it bounces a card back to hand on Evo, but its Evo cost is a bit more difficult to achieve. And then if the opponent's card is Evo'd, it actually just outright destroys it. But utility is a little bit weaker. Ultimately, it's still $1 to $1.50 to pick up for the base form. And then the Evo is underneath $1 for its market price as well. Super Legendaries both have a market price of above $5, but only the base form has a base listing that's above $5 right now. Mystic King. This one actually sells a little bit more consistently, although it does have a lot of listings on the market for its regular form, and I do want to take a look at this one in a bit more detail for that. But it's got 47 listings on the base form at $3.30 to start. The Evo form has a market price of $3, but it's $2.36 listings. And when you take a look at the actual history of sales on this one, it's a little more sporadic, but at least it sells in troves when it does sell. And more or less, it tends to sell for $4 to $5 overall. It is an archetype, so similar to what we'd have for the Leviathan Dragon, there is potential for it to get some more support down the line that could build it up. Another example of something that's cheaper but still getting consistent sales is Crystallia Lily. This one has been selling pretty consistently overall at around 25 cents or lower. Sometimes it'll sell higher, but this is just the base form, and it's still got 44 listings available versus the Evo, which only has 12 listings. And then this one also sells rather consistently as well at somewhat higher prices. This one can get above $1 if you try to sell it. And in terms of available listings they're consolidated around $1 or higher to pick up here. Rhyme Wine is a gold from set 2 that also sells rather consistently at around 50 cents. 32 listings on this one, but looking at the data of actual sales, it does sell more consistently than most other cards on the market too. Consolidation-wise, it's consolidated at 50 cents, so not too much risk of that going much higher, but still one to keep your eye out on. Vania Vampire Princess, the time has not quite come yet for this card, but it is back up in value in terms of its market price, which is $2.56 right now. And this one still sells more consistently as well, even over the past 2 months, where most of the sales are around $2 to even $3.50 if you want to pick it up. In later formats, it's definitely going to take off, and we've got a bit more consolidation at $2.50, but then it starts to really consolidate around $4. So if you haven't picked these up yet and want to play bats later, this is probably a good time, because ultimately, even with the dips, it rarely falls under $2. Azazel, the Evo form of this, is also slowly, continuously moving up in value. It's had its points where it had less than 10 listings, but it's still available on the market. I tend to think you only need 1 or 2 of these anyway, which is probably why the cost didn't spike out of control. But this one is still around $2 to $2.50, and in terms of sales, this one is also pretty consistent in terms of sales, and for the most part sells with only 1 copy. But we do have those buying them at 2 or 3, and they tend to be under $1 when that happens. Or sorry, under $2. Forte also is running low on listings all of a sudden. I did not see this happen. Let me see how the market has been playing out on this. So over the last week or so, there have been a lot of listings at 10 that slowly sold out from 15 to a single one that sold at $20 more recently. And so 15 has been a pretty good sale point, and the market price is now $11.55, so it's moving back up there. And they're consolidated at $20, but with a $5 shipping tag at this point. And there's only one other listing that gets to almost $28. Dragon is still pretty popular as it is. And in terms of, Forte, I don't think Forte got reprinted in Gloryfinder either, which could also be a contributing factor. And let me just double check that. No, it didn't. Forte was not reprinted in Gloryfinder, so it has no new versions to pick up there. Dimension Shift, the foil version of this card. This is another one you'll want to watch for as we move into set 6. But the truth is, we are getting a new promo version of this, so the foil might lose some overall value as being a potential high rarity. Even so, this one doesn't sell that heavily. We have it sporadically selling at $7 to about $8, and there's no real consolidation of this one. Anyone who has this only has 1 or 2 copies, and they tend to be $7 to $8 on the market. Lesser Mummy, the base form of this is still out of stock, and the last time we even saw this sell on the market was back at the beginning of June, so we still don't have any real sales. We don't have any listings at all where you could even pick this up. And if you take a look here, the Evo is still available from 20 cents, which it's interesting to see how we still have listings of that versus this one. And then the last card I want to talk about today is Floral Fencer. This one also got reprinted in Gloryfinder, but apparently, in addition to that just never being on the market, the original copy that came out of the starter deck is also out of stock right now and is 31 cents market price. On top of that, it looks like the base form's promo, which came as a box topper from set 1, is running out of listings as well, and it's now $4 base with a market price of $2.10. So historically, this one has been increasing in value, and now we've got it at, it's selling for $4 to $5 more recently, and there were just a lot of pickups from $1 to $2. Now, copies that are available, there's only one listing at $4, and after that, it just jumps all the way to $13 and higher. I'm not sure where it can go from here. Floral Fencer is a good generic to play for Swordcraft, so it's a hard call as to where it'll actually end up going. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys later.